Your past may explain you, but it will never define you. Welcome to Soft Girl Era, the sacred space where strong Black women unlearn survival, rediscover softness, and reclaim the joy, rest, and freedom they deserve without guilt, without apology, and without explanation. I'm your host, LeAnne Dolce, pronounced Dole Say, like sweet softness whispered in French, and I'm your guide from burnout to boundaries, from doing to being, from strong to soft, and loving every second of it. Today, I had the profound honor of sitting down with Crystal Farrington, a woman whose life is a living testament to the power of rewriting your story. Crystal is a dispute resolution professional and the founder of My Friendly Neighbor, a business built on one simple but revolutionary belief: no one should ever feel forgotten. Her mission is to provide companionship and support to seniors while creating a company where kindness isn't just encouraged, it's the foundation of everything they do. Crystal's journey from foster care and family addiction to purpose driven entrepreneurship is a masterclass in turning pain into purpose. And I'm here to share the wisdom she gave us in a way that I hope will change how you see your own story. Because here's what Crystal taught me, and what I want you to hold on to today. Your past may explain you, but it will never define you. Let's sit with that for a second. Your past may explain you. It may give context to your wounds, your fears, your survival strategies. It may help people understand why you built those walls, why you work so hard, why you struggle to rest, why you say yes when you mean no. But it does not get to write the final chapter of your life. It does not get to decide who you become, what you build, or how much love you're allowed to give and receive. Crystal's story is proof of that. She was born into a family deeply affected by addiction. Her mother struggled with alcoholism. Her father struggled with heroin addiction. As a child, Crystal and her two brothers were removed from their home and placed in foster care, where they spent 3 years separated from the people they loved most. It was confusing. It was painful. And it left her wondering if she truly belonged, if anyone really saw her. Addiction didn't just touch her parents, it touched nearly every branch of her family tree. Two of her uncles battled addiction, one with alcohol, the other with heroin. Cancer eventually took her grandparents. Today, Crystal, her two brothers, and her cousin are among the few remaining members of their family. Experiencing so much loss at an early age taught her how precious people are and how important it is to love them while we can. For many years, Crystal felt overlooked. She worked hard, she gave her best, and she often wondered when her opportunity would come. But somewhere along the way, she made a decision. She refused to let her past define her future. Instead of allowing pain to make her bitter, she chose to let it make her compassionate. And that, my friends, is the heart of what we're talking about today. Crystal doesn't share her story to gain sympathy. She shares it because she knows there are children growing up in difficult homes, adults carrying wounds from their past, and people who feel invisible. She wants them to know that their story is not over, and neither is yours. Now, I want to take you deeper into this idea by sharing three powerful stories that illustrate what it really means when we say, my past may explain me, but it will never define me. The first story is about a woman named Cupcake Brown, a Black woman who survived childhood foster care, abuse, addiction, and homelessness, and later became a successful attorney and author. When Cupcake was 11 years old, her mother died. She was placed in foster care where she endured severe abuse. She ran away, joined a gang, and became addicted to drugs and alcohol. By her 20s, she had hit a profound low. She was homeless, broken, and convinced that her life was over before it had truly begun. But then she made a choice. She entered recovery, committed to sobriety through a 12-step program, and began the slow, painful work of rebuilding her life step by step, class by class, job by job. She earned her GED, then a college degree, and eventually completed law school. She became a practicing attorney and published a best selling memoir called A Piece of Cake, which brought visibility to the realities of foster care, addiction, and Black women's resilience. Cupcake's journey has been widely cited in discussions about trauma recovery, addiction treatment, and the power of second chances, especially for Black women. Her life powerfully illustrates Crystal's theme. The past may explain her, but it does not define her destiny. She refused to let the label society placed on her become the limits of her life. She chose to write a different ending. The second story is about Oprah Winfrey, a Black woman who overcame poverty, childhood abuse, and early career discrimination to become a media icon and philanthropist. Oprah grew up in rural poverty in Mississippi, often wearing dresses made from potato sacks. She survived multiple instances of childhood sexual abuse and became pregnant at 14. Her baby died shortly after birth. She faced racism and sexism as a young Black woman in broadcasting, including being demoted from a news anchor position because someone decided she wasn't the right fit. But Oprah chose to pursue education in media despite the pain of her past. She leaned into her ability to empathize with others' stories, turning her trauma into a capacity for deep, compassionate interviewing. She built the Oprah Winfrey Show around honest conversations about pain, healing, and self definition, then expanded into OWN and philanthropic work. Today, she is one of the most influential media figures in the world, with a net worth in the billions and a platform dedicated to growth and healing. She has funded schools, scholarships, and community programs, especially for Black girls and women, using her success to uplift others. Oprah's story is often cited as a prime example of someone whose early circumstances, poverty, abuse, and discrimination explained her struggles but did not define her possibilities. She models how turning pain into purpose and kindness can reshape entire communities. She could have stayed angry. She could have stayed bitter. She could have let the world's rejection become her identity, but she didn't. She chose differently. The third story is about Damon John, a Black entrepreneur who faced financial hardship and limited opportunities before founding Fubu and becoming an investor on Shark Tank. Damon was raised in Queens, New York, by a single mother after his parents divorced. He grew up in a working class household with few financial resources and limited access to business networks. He struggled with dyslexia, which could have easily defined his academic and professional trajectory. But instead of letting those factors define him as limited, he embraced hustle, creativity, and community collaboration. He started selling hats on the streets of Queens, learning entrepreneurship from the ground up. He worked at Red Lobster at night while building Fubu during the day, stitching and selling clothes himself. He leveraged community support, friends wearing his clothes in music videos, turning a small streetwear idea into a cultural movement. And Fubu grew into a global fashion brand, generating hundreds of millions in revenue. Damon became a celebrated investor and mentor on Shark Tank, using his platform to invest in diverse entrepreneurs. He has written multiple business books, including The Power of Broke, which explicitly teaches that starting with very little can be an asset rather than a life sentence. His story shows that economic hardship and learning challenges may explain where you start, but they do not define the level of impact you can have. These three stories, Cupcake, Oprah, and Damon, all echo what Crystal Farrington is living out loud every single day. They all made a choice to separate explanation from definition. They all turned pain into purpose. They all refused to let their beginnings dictate their endings. And here's what I want you to understand: you can do the same. Crystal believes that kindness can break cycles. She believes one caring person can change another person's life. She believes our greatest purpose often grows from our deepest pain. And she's not just talking about it, she's living it. Through My Friendly Neighbor, she's creating a legacy of compassion, creating opportunities for others, and reminding people they matter. She wants her children to see that love is stronger than addiction, hope is stronger than fear, and integrity is worth holding on to, even when life is hard. So, what does this mean for you? After listening to Crystal's story, I want you to do three things. First, separate explanation from definition. Take one label or story from your past: foster child, child of addiction, overlooked employee, struggling business owner, and consciously decide, this explains part of my journey, but it does not get to define my identity or my future. Second, turn one piece of pain into one act of purpose. Identify one wound or experience that still hurts and ask, how can I use this to help someone else? It might be mentoring a younger colleague, showing extra kindness to a client, checking on a neighbor, or starting a small initiative like Crystal's My Friendly Neighbor. Third, practice one intentional act of kindness this week. Choose one senior, one coworker, one neighbor, or one family member, and do something specific that says, I see you. You're not forgotten. That is how we, like Crystal, begin breaking cycles, one act of kindness at a time. And here's how I want you to feel as you walk away from this conversation. I want you to feel seen and understood, especially if you grew up in homes touched by addiction, foster care, or loss. I want you to feel like someone is finally saying out loud, you are not broken beyond repair. Your story is not over. I want you to feel warmly hopeful, not in a superficial way, but in a grounded way. Hope that comes from hearing how Crystal turned real pain into real purpose. Hope that whispers, if she can rewrite her story, maybe I can rewrite mine too. I want you to feel inspired, but not pressured. I want you to feel encouraged to take one small step toward compassion, healing, or entrepreneurship without feeling that you have to have it all figured out today. Crystal's life shows that change happens decision by decision, neighbor by neighbor, kindness by kindness. And finally, I want you to feel connected. I want you to feel like you've just had a warm, authentic conversation with someone who believes in you, even if you've never met Crystal, because that is the heart of her work. No one should feel forgotten. Crystal's dream is bigger than building a successful business. She wants to build a legacy of compassion. She wants to create opportunities for others. She wants to one day give back in ways that remind people they matter. If her journey teaches anything, I hope it is this: your past may explain where you came from, but it never has to decide where you're going. So here is my challenge to you today. Stop waiting for permission to redefine yourself. Stop letting old labels dictate new possibilities. Stop believing that because something happened to you, it must also define you. It doesn't, it never did. And it never will unless you give it that power. You have the authority to separate explanation from definition. You have the ability to turn your deepest wounds into your most powerful purpose. You have the capacity to break cycles, not just for yourself, but for everyone who comes after you. Crystal Farrington did it, Cupcake Brown did it, Oprah Winfrey did it, Damon John did it. And you can do it too. One neighbor, one family, one act of kindness at a time. Your story is not over. It's just beginning. And the pen is in your hand. Now write.